Hello YouTube. Yeah, I'm sweating my butt off out here. It's almost 90 degrees today here in Northeast Ohio, but I wanted to talk to you about Forged in Fire and my experience on Forged in Fire. Uh, let's see, it was season 8, episode 10, and it was the Spetsnut shovel, and I made my application in to go. And little backstory here. Doug Markita always runs a cup of Joe in the morning, and I've been blacksmithing before Forged in Fire came out, and I always watched Doug and followed his cup of Joe. Anyway, my son he moved down to Southern Ohio, where his mom's at, and he happened to be stabbed and attacked in the brain. Now this was while I was applying for Forged in Fire. I hadn't been on the show yet, and Doug was doing a cup of Joe, and I was just totally beside myself on what to do. And Doug, being a clinical psychologist, was always good at giving advice. And I messaged him what was going on. And as a knife maker, and finding out that your son is in a hospital in ICU, and he was stabbed 3¼ inches in the brain. Now they said he fell, and that was the story, and there was only 3 of them there. I don't buy that for a minute. I really don't. Even the doctors told me he didn't fall. He was stabbed. It was a sharp object that was stabbed into his brain. He couldn't just fall on a post and have that happen to him. And I was working 12 hours a day at a forge, and it was a different type of forge. It was for the aircraft industry on turbines. I was training to be a tech and run the forge, the smelting, and anyway, so I left work immediately and raced down to Columbus, Ohio. He was in ICU, intensive care in a brain and spine center, and Adley, he asked me if if I would like him to come see him, and I was honored he'd asked, and I said, yeah, I would love for you to come up and see my boy. My boy was stabbed in the temporal lobe, and that controls your speech, it controls your language, and he didn't remember. Uh, Sorry if I get a little emotional. It was pretty hard to go through. Um, he already had ADD, and being stabbed in the brain, uh, he couldn't remember. He called his hands his gloves. His feet were his gloves. Cover up my gloves. Uh, I was so angry. I was so angry at this guy that he was with that you know it was rough. And my work only gave me 3 days off. And I told them I went to work on the 4th day, and I couldn't deal with it. I had to go see him, and I started I think somebody started a GoFundMe, and that helped pay for gas, and I really appreciate it. If anybody on you here that helped with that, I'm very grateful. They started a GoFundMe for Trevor, and it helped me give his mother gas money. She lives down that way in Tuscarawas County, but gave her money to come see him and eat and stuff at the hospital and stay. But Doug Markita, when I messaged him what was going on, he was kind of in shock. I could tell by the look on his face that he stopped his cup of Joe early. And the next day he apologized for it, and he contacted me. He said, I would like to he was talking about doing Facebook Messenger, but he decided to do it live, speak right to Trevor live, to all the Forged in Fire people and all the fans that watch Doug's channel, and all the comments of outspoken comments or prayers. I'm sorry, and the way people said they would pray, that they would pray for him, and so I appreciate it. But I had to meet Doug. I definitely had to meet Doug and thank him for everything he's done. And I finally got to see him, and this was during COVID. I could not shake his hand, which really was a bummer. But I I applied for Forged in Fire. I got my chance to go on, and I'm in my I don't know what legally I'm allowed to say, but I was in my makeup room, so to speak, and I heard a knock on the door, and I opened the door, and it was Doug. And I immediately started to trot down the stairs to shake his hand and tell him thank you and give him a hug. He said, "Whoa, hold on, COVID." And he said, "I wanted to see how your boy's doing." And actually, on the drive to Forged in Fire, he was. This is after his recovery. He recovered. He was started to. I should back up. He recovered. He started to talk, getting his speech cleared up, and they made sure his motor skills were, good, and did some therapy and and he gets forgetful on words sometimes still, but he's really good. He's doing really good. But I went out to shake Doug's hand, and he asked how Trevor was doing, and told him, and I had a letter from him on Messenger that he was feeling suicidal, and I couldn't tell him that I was at the set, and that was rough. Also, my uncle Larry, he was my last remaining uncle. He had brain cancer, and when they came to pick me up, I literally had just got in the vehicle for them to drive me to the set when my sister-in-law told me that my uncle Larry had passed away. He had passed away, I guess, a week or two before that, but they didn't want to spread it till later. But the first day of forging on the set, found out Uncle Larry was dying, or died, that he had passed away, and I also had a letter from Trevor, and it was hard, but I'm glad I got the chance to go on there. I forged my knife. I normally always put white out in the can when I was doing the canister, and I poured the white out, and it got over the grinder, and I'm grinding on the grinder and got my parts cleaned up. I didn't realize how fast. Normally at home, there's plenty of time for it to dry. I'd take my time cleaning the parts, but I zipped through. I actually use a 2x48. I now have the 2x72, but at the time at the set it was 2x72, so it just flew through cleaning them up. Dropped the pieces in and poured the powder, and realized I didn't let it. Oh man, I'm that guy. I didn't let it dry. I looked at Doug. Doug looked at me, and I'm like, oh man, I'm that guy. But I got through that, and then I went over to the welder, and we had to wear a mask, a face mask, had to wear the glasses. And when I went over, I didn't think to take them in the booth by myself. I could have took all that off, but under the stress, the hood, there's a clear visor for grinding, and then there's the welder visor, and it kept falling. It was loose. It kept falling on me, and my welds were messing up, and I managed to get it. I did manage to get the billet welded up, and or get the knife, because I had some seams that were cracked from the canister not coming all the way off because I didn't let the white out dry. Yada yada yada. Anyway, I got the knife cleaned up really well. They didn't show it on the show, but it cleaned up really well. And even later on, James had told me that I did really good and that I should be proud of what I did. And I am. I'm proud of what I did. We talked for a long time on my way home. He asked why I didn't stay. I said, well, it's COVID. I didn't think I could hang out with you guys, but I guess I could have. But anyway, Doug, before I left, met me out underneath the tent and gave me his his Kali martial arts wristband that he always wears. You see it on the show. He's always got the wristband. I've got it in the house. And he signed it. I didn't realize he signed it. I put it on and wore it. And he gave Trevor, he wrote up, he had them all autograph it, signed autograph picture. And they all signed it. And Doug made his, wrote to Trevor. And it was really special. And Doug, if you ever see this, I appreciate it, brother. Really do. Anyway, at any rate, went on when I got to the second round, I drilled my handle out. I always use, I don't have any, they're up there in the shop, but I use 1/4 inch solids most of the time. And I use epoxy. They ain't never going to come out. And even if they do, all you got to do is throw some glue on and put them back in. But I always use the quarters. You know, I think they're solid. I don't know how much solider you can get in the solid brass pen, but a lot of people use the Corbies, and the Corbies screw together. So really, you have the threads. You know, what's the difference in the threads is that you have a shoulder and it sets the shoulder in, and there's a different size diameter. Well, I had already drilled it to 1/4, so that didn't make a difference. But when I went to the shelf to get the quarters, I found one, and it would have been long enough, but I had cut the scales, and they were thick before I ground them down. And I thought, that's not going to work. And I was going to use one front and back and a Corby in the middle, which I should have done. But I was under the gun and getting nervous. So I just did all 3 Corby. Well, all 3 Corbies, when they have that little shoulder on them, and when I screwed them in, they cut on the edge of the tang of the knife and barely got any threads. And I was using a little screwdriver, like I swear it was this big, and then a big one. And I should have went to the desk and got the other guy's screwdrivers, normal size flatheads, and done it that way. And I didn't. I should have. You're watching the clock. I was stressing out, a lot going on. Drinking water, pounding the water. And that night, my blood pressure from the day of forging, I got back to the hotel and woke up at 3 in the morning, and my blood pressure dropped because I was so dehydrated. And I called my fiance and I said, this ain't good. My blood pressure's low. And it was pounding water. And man, I ate good that night. Before that happened, I had calamari. You know, I was right close to the ocean. Had calamari, had Atlantic salmon. Man, I ate good. Had a couple twisted teas, relaxed, and then my blood pressure dropped. And so it was kind of eye-opening that my blood pressure dropped that much. And anyway, so when we went and put the handles on, and I didn't get them Corbies perfectly lined up, and James came out with that club, I thought, oh, here we go, it's coming apart. I kind of had that feeling. I kind of knew already. If I had just used 2 solids front and back on the Corby in the middle, it would have held together just fine. I would have went on to the last round, because I know my knife was sharper than both of theirs, and I know, no offense guys, but I know mine was sharp. It was, if you watch the show, they show a brief moment where I have a leather and I just sliced it. And I know I had a good quench on it, and I know I had a good normalization, or a good temper on it. So I know it would have out chopped and out sliced them, and my tip was even sharp. You cut with the tip of my pry bar knife, and it went right underneath the plate. They all showed them about even, but mine went under the plate the fastest. It popped the plate up the fastest, but when you had hammered it just, the threads came apart, and I was disappointed. But hey, 10 grand ain't much. I'm not too. And Mike, you deserve to win it. If you're watching this, brother, you deserved it. And he's a hard worker. And me, I'm working full time. It's hard for me to get out here to the forge. It's hard for me to get anything done. I have orders that are behind, and I'm disappointed that I haven't got them done. But anyway, to make this, to get to the point of this story, is it was a great time. I had a great time on Forged and Fired. It was awesome. They're all great guys, you know, and I appreciate the judges, and we all got along good, and we enjoyed ourselves. And unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be another season. They got this last season now, but I think time's run out on the show. I'm almost certain that there's not going to be another show after this season. So enjoy watching Forged and Fire, and see who your next contestant would be. Oh, a little side note. I had a red shirt on because I was supposed to be in the Christmas episode, so I bought a red shirt, and bought 3 red shirts. And I had the red shirt on, and evidently nobody ever won when they wore a red shirt. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have got red. But anyway, yeah, so the next episode they had a bearded fellow with a red shirt, and he won. So, he broke the curse, they say. But yeah, I was cursed from the start. I had everything going against me, but I made it to the second round, and I'm still forging on. I've got a Damascus billet actually right here. I need to get working on. I got buggy, 15 and 20, and all back and forth buggy and 15 and 20. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a Damascus billet, and hopefully I can get those straightened out and cleaned up and welded together. Got a few things yet to do today. I just posted a video on the shop just before this video. But got me a 2x72 grinder now.